And here, dear aspirants, I'm Justin from Gallant IAS Academy. This is our art and culture for civil service mains examination. You know what is the easiest way of approaching this art and culture? Nothing but understanding its weightage in the GS1 paper. In order to understand its weightage, just go for the previous year questions. How many questions from art and culture asked in every year? What are the themes repeatedly asked, or what all the areas you have to focus in ancient medieval art and culture? This understanding is essential. In that way, if you look into this art and culture, last 10 years or 12 years you take, let's see some common areas, some common themes which you shouldn't miss. I would say there is Buddhist art and architecture. Buddhist art and architecture. Similar way, Buddhist Jain literature and philosophies. Buddhist Jain literature and philosophies. There can be a question like this: how this Buddhist literature, Buddhist philosophies reflected in the ancient monuments, in the stupas and pillars, or in the Dilwara temple, or in the temple architecture, how the philosophy is reflected in this ancient cave art and architecture, or painting, sculpture, etc. That way they can ask question. They already asked questions. Okay, so Buddhist art architecture important. Similar way, Buddhist Jain literature and philosophies and the reflections or their influence on this ancient art architecture, that's important. Similar way, foreigners accounts, they can ask a question on these foreigners accounts on reconstructing the history. This was already asked. Similar way, Megasthenes Indica. Okay, there is Fahin Huyan Sang, there is Al Baruni, there is Ibn Battuta. So there are many foreigners who visited India, ancient India, medieval India, and how their accounts are helpful in constructing or reconstructing the history of ancient medieval India. So understanding these foreigners' accounts and their observations on India's culture, religion, or India's polity, India's society, that thing is social institutions, that is important for you. Then socio-religious life from sources, that's again very important. They can ask a question how the Vedic literature reflect this Vedic society and religion, or how Arthashastra reflect this Mauryan polity, or how the secular literature of the Gupta times talk about the advancement of Gupta science technology, or how the Chola inscriptions talk about their local self-government, how the Persian Arabic literature talk about this subaltern history or the life of the commoners in Mughal era or Delhi Sultanate. So it's understanding the socio-religious cultural life of ancient India from age to age. Similar way, medieval India from literature, from the contemporary literature, that understanding is important for you. Science and technology of ages. They can ask a question, what was the status of the science and technology of the Gupta age, science and technology of the Vijayanagar Empire, or science and technology of these Mughals? In fact, they already asked on these areas. Similar way, movements and contributions. That Bhakti Sufi movements are there, or this what is called Buddhist Jain movements are there. So different religious cultural movements of ancient medieval times and their contributions to vernacular language literature, or contributions to social reformism, or contributions to these cultural changes, that can be a question you have to focus on. Similar way, the persons and patrons of art architecture. Krishna Devaraya was an example. Then cultural art continuity. They can ask a question how the culture or religion or the beliefs or these cultural traditions of Indus or of Vedic or of Mauryan continued or preserved to modern day. Already asked such type of the question, so take care. Continuity and change element, that's again important as far as this art and culture for mains is concerned. Then usually temple architecture, paintings, sculptures, literature, Mughal art and architecture, these are some core topics you shouldn't miss. You must have a template for each so that you can write a decent answer in the final paper, final exam. Similar way, yeah, there is a question. I am just decoding it, you know. The purpose is not to write a model answer because it is subjective. I'm just giving you the content and decoding an answer or a question. See, Philosophy, the role of, this was a question they already asked, the role of philosophy in shaping the monuments and art of this ancient India. So just look into that. If that is the question, you can go for rocket architecture. First part is rocket architecture. You see Ajanta Ellora, Barabar, Elephanta caves, these are examples for this rocket architecture, art and architecture. They reflect these different religions philosophy. For example, Ajanta reflect this, like a Buddhist philosophy, that Hinayana, Mahayana philosophy, that the paintings and the sculptures, they reflect this Buddhist philosophy, Jataka tales, etc. You see. Similar way, Ellora is a synthesis. It's a combination of the Buddhist philosophy, Jain philosophy, Hindu philosophy. You see, philosophical depictions of the paintings or philosophical depictions of these religions in the form of paintings and narratives. You can see there. Similar way, Barabar caves, Ajivika philosophy. Then Elephanta caves, that is a Hindu philosophy, reflection of Hindu philosophy. So those things you take care. How these paintings or how these rocket paintings or rocket art and architecture reflect these religious philosophies. That is something you can bring into the answer. Different schools of sculpture. Gandhara, Madhura, Amaravati. Gandhara reflect that Mahayana Buddhism. Then Madhura, Amaravati, Buddhism, Jainism, and Hinduism. Similar way, you can go for stubas and pillars. Stupa pillars reflect this Buddhist philosophy and ideals. For example, stupa, the top portion of stupa is chatra or chatri, that reflect three ratnas in Buddhism, that is Dhamma, what is that? Sangha, Dhamma, Sangha, and this, what is called, yeah, what are the three jewels in Buddhism? Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, those three concepts, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, three concepts. So that three jewels in this Buddhism, that is reflected in Chatra. Then it's what is called that Torana, different portions of the stupa, how they reflect these ideals and narratives of this Buddhism. So this architecture, then this temple architecture, Nagara, Dravida, Varsara styles of temple architecture. That is, Nagara is a North Indian style, Dravida is a South Indian style, Varsara is the Deccani style. How they reflect these religious beliefs, religious, philosophies, and through the sculptures, paintings, and these art forms, how they reflect the ideas of religion, philosophies of the religion that you take care. Then another aspect is, of course, yeah, there is Dilwara temple which reflect Jain philosophy, Jain ideals. Then statues are the Gomadeshwara statue, that is Ravana Karnataka, that is Bahubali statue. Then there is, the statue of equality, Ramanujacharya, which reflect his philosophy, Ramanujacharya's philosophy, or his, like religious ideas or his ethical ideas. Paintings are also the Rajanda Ellora, Bag, Badami, Labakshi, Siddhanavasal. Pala miniature is, that is Vajrayana Mahayana Buddhism. Then Bhakti traditions, in paintings, the Bhakti teachings and the, styles of devotions reflected in painting. Rajapatha painting, Krishna, Radha themes, and illustration of this Mahabharata, Ramayana in Mughal paintings. So let's see that these various arts and monuments, yes, they reflect these ancient religious philosophies and teachings and narratives, etc. Okay, these things you have to bring into the answer. So this series will continue. Our repeaters batch is mainly meant for those aspirants who want to finish their mains portions by December itself, and to do justice to both the prelims mains part, simultaneously. Prepare prelims mains simultaneously and give a best try, best attempt in 2025. Okay, so this will, it's already have a schedule. Accordingly, we will be doing the test series, value addition classes, master revision booster classes, etc. And there will be one-on-one mentorship and personal feedbacks, etc. by toppers and experts. Okay, so if you wish to get more of this series, please do comment in the comment box. All the best. Thank you.